So this video is going to show what all of the formulas on the teacher tab, what they do, how they work. So we're going to start with the location assignments for homeroom. So these cells are just raw data, student names, typed or copied and pasted into this column. But these cells, the room location assignments, are formulas. First, if there's an error, the value is returned as blank. Some people leave this portion off, but I think it makes the spreadsheet look clean. So down here, this is the error because there is no value in this column, but it's not showing NA or error because I have that if error kind of buffer on the ends of the formula. I think that the error and the NA can kind of make users panic sometimes, thinking that they broke something. Also, it means that you can have the formulas copied down for a ways, and it won't throw an error until, or even if you have like no student here. But then if you add a student here, so let's go ahead and do that. It's going to automatically show up, so you won't need to do as much maintenance. So the rest of this formula, it uses the logical if function combined with a VLOOKUP, which is a vertical lookup. So what this one does is it looks up B5, which on this tab, B5 is a student's name, student 1. And it looks for that in the reference tab. So that's the reference do not edit, columns B through G, which is the room locations. And it's going to return the second column, which is Monday. The word false means that it's going to find the exact match from B5. So this would be a student's name. So if two students had the same last name, it would return the exact match, not the first time there was a Smith last name. If Monday for that student is blank, which is represented by the quotation marks with nothing in them, then, so if that cell is blank, it's going to move on to the next part of the formula. So if you look, this has if this logical expression, this is what it will show if it's true, and this is what it will show if it's false. Okay, so my logical expression is if this cell next to B5, next to this student's name, if this cell is blank, give me this. Now this is looking up that student's name in the groups do not edit in the second column, which is Monday. So let's go look at that. So remember, we're looking for student 1, and it's going to give me Monday. So let's go back to that teacher. So that's what it returns if that cell is blank. What that cell being blank means is that no teacher has chosen this student to come for small group work in their room. So let's change that and see that change reflected here. Then when we change that and that cell is no longer blank, that's going to skip this value of true, and it's going to move to here, value of false. Because remember, we said if the cell is blank, show this. If it's not blank, show this. Okay. So let's go to week 1. And student 1, so who's not pulled for anybody, so let's pull them to teacher P room 116. And if we go back, now it says teacher P116. So that's an automatic population. That's an automatic change based on that living edit that a user could have made. So you can see I kept some accurate pulls from, again, I changed the names, but this is actually like pulls that teachers have made. So you can see where like the pattern is broken. All of this group would be in room 107 just because I pulled the first 27 kids in the alphabet, which wouldn't happen in a regular homeroom, but you can see that students are being pulled, and this is how you would let those students know where to go. Okay, so the next formula or set of formulas is for the pull rosters. So these formulas use the value in cell B1. So when you set up the spreadsheet tab for each teacher, you want to update cell B1 to be their name and room number or whatever it is you put in the tally table, because what you put in the tally table is going to be what's in the drop-down menu, and so we're looking for that value. So this is a similar formula to a formula I've already showcased. It's an array formula, which means it's making a hypothetical matrix of data. So what we're looking for, what's being created in this hypothetical matrix in this formula is it's finding the first instance and every instance after that of where this value, teacher A101, where this value shows up in the reference sheet in column C, because column C is Monday. So again, just to kind of review, small means that I'm giving the lowest value or the first instance that this occurs, but I'm using the row formula to limit it to just row 1. So this is going to be the very first time that teacher A101 shows up in Monday, and then the second time and the third time. So you can see these numbers are sequential, so these students' names would be in alphabetical order, but it's not every student. It's only the students that teacher A101 has chosen. So let's go and look at that now. So that this is going to come from the reference do not edit sheet, which is just a copy of week 1 right now. So I can see teacher A101, the first student that they pulled is student 13, and the second student that they pulled for Monday is student 16, which is what we saw reflected on this teacher's pull roster. So it's the same formula for the rest of the week, except instead of pulling from column C, it's going to pull from column D for Tuesday, E for Wednesday, etc. So it's only pulling for that particular day of the week. The from column is a little easier. It's looking that if I5 is blank, just leave this blank. So down here, since there's no student pulled, this is just going to be blank, represented by the quotes with nothing in them. And that logical if, again, shows if, this is our logical test, if I5 is blank, which is false, return this value. So if it's true, return blank. If it's false, give me this. So this looks up I5, which is the student's name, whichever student this happens to be, and give me from the groups tab, give me where they should have been, like originally, in the second column, which is on Monday. So let's go look at that. So it should be Social Studies room 107. So student 13 in the groups do not edit tab, I'm sure they're in group A. The second value for Monday, they should be in Social Studies room 107. So again, we're going to go look at that. So student 13 is in social studies on Monday. So this helps the teacher out because if they know, the students kind of know the pattern of where like their default location is, and they may not double check where they're actually told to go, or they may try and sneak away. So then this teacher, if they know student 13 is present today and they don't show up, they can call room 107 and see if they're in there. So that's what these formulas do on this this tab, the teacher tab. The, again, only thing that you have to do, because all of these formulas will stay there, the only thing you have to do to set it up is type in the teacher's name and room number and paste their student roster data. And then they're ready to use.